The crisis engulfing the Hanshin Tigers fan base is not merely about one player's future, but about the very soul of the franchise.
It is a wrenching debate, a visceral, knife-edge argument taking place on the sacred soil of Koshien. Should the Tigers grant Kairi Sato the right to pursue his Major League Baseball dream via the posting system?
The prevailing fear, articulated in gut-punching terms by those opposed to the move, is that if Sato is allowed to leave, Saiki and Ishii will surely follow next year.
This is not just a transfer. It is perceived as the first inevitable tilt in a horrific domino effect that threatens the structural collapse of the Hanshin dynasty, built so painstakingly over the last few years.
The stakes are too high for simple sentimentality.
Let us first examine the arguments put forth by the pro-posting faction, the modernists who believe that refusing Sato's dream is an act of self-sabotage.
Sheda. They frame this as a necessary investment in the future of the organization. Refuse the posting, they argue, and the Tigers instantly become a repellent force in the NPB draft.
In today's globalized baseball market, top young talents with strong MLB aspirations view any team that denies posting as a cage, an organization to be actively avoided.
The modernists assert that holding fast to archaic restrictions is a direct path to being bypassed by the next generation of Japanese stars.
How can a team realistically deny a player the chance to go from an annual salary of 100 million yen to potentially 1 billion yen or more? To stifle such ambition is to invite stagnation.
Sheda. They view granting the posting as simply acknowledging the inevitable reality of the modern era, that top-tier talent will inevitably cross the ocean.
Shedar, they warn, accelerates the alienation of the fan base from the NPB product as a whole, constituting a self-destructive act for the league.
However, the anti-posting hardliners, the keepers of the Tigers' competitive fire, pounce on this notion with ferocity.
Shedar. Point directly to historical precedent, suggesting that leniency toward players like Fujinami and Aoyagi only led to the current precarious situation, where every star player believes their request should be instantly honored.
Their core maxim is simple. Once a precedent is set, the entire core roster is immediately vulnerable. Granting Sato's request would effectively dismantle the team's ability to retain talent necessary for sustained championship contention.
The emotional core of their opposition is the terrifying vision of the hellish domino effect. Sato is the foundational hitter.
Sheda, the assumption is that ice pitcher Shoki Saiki và promising star Koyo Ishii sẽ drive behind him khi service time criteria được met.
The Tigers' strength lies in their continuity, and sacrificing their core guarantees a return to mediocrity.
Skedar. If these players truly desire to go to the majors, the hardliners insist they must honor the terms of their contracts and wait for international free agency, thereby protecting the club's critical assets.
Posting, they argue, must remain a special exception for aging legends, not a loophole for players who are central to the team's immediate success.
Furthermore, a layer of agonizing complexity is added by the ever-present geopolitical skirmish with the Yomiuri Giants. This is the ultimate nightmare scenario for the Tigers faithful.
Hanshin stubbornly rejects Sato's posting request. He will eventually earn domestic free agency. At that moment, the hated Giants could swoop in, offering Sato a lucrative, long-term contract that explicitly includes a guarantee of MLB posting after a set number of years.
Imagine the humiliation. Sato,
restricted and frustrated by the Tigers, signs with the rival Giants, dons the despised G uniform, dominates the NPB for a few years, and then leaves for the majors through the Giants organization.
For Hanshin fans, there is no greater possible betrayal or more profound insult to the franchise's dignity.
The pressure is therefore twofold: allow the dream now and suffer a strategic loss, or deny the dream and risk losing him to the eternal enemy later, turning the strategic loss into an emotional catastrophe. The debate spirals further into confusion. The pro-posting side argues that Sato has demonstrated 5 consecutive years of excellence. His dedication and contributions are already sufficient.
Shadow. He still has unfinished business at Koshien. He hasn't delivered the ultimate goal.
This conflict between gratitude toward a franchise cornerstone who has given his best and the desperate possessive need to keep a cherished player from walking away perfectly encapsulates the contradictory emotions tearing the Tigers' fanbase apart.
You prioritize the player's dream and the reputation of the organization, thereby risking the loss of your competitive window.
Or do you take the harsh, realistic stance, deny their posting, and risk alienating a star and jeopardizing your future draft appeal, all in the desperate hope of maintaining the roster's integrity?
The time for deliberation is ending. The Hanshin Tigers stand at a crossroads where the decision on one player will dictate the competitive viability of the organization for the rest of the 2020s.
This is more than a transaction. It is a nuclear option, and the franchise must decide whether to pull the trigger or hold the line against the inevitable tide of global baseball ambition.